this uncertainty and fear, an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear across the entire city.
Right. But, has there been any sort of violence which has been directly, imposed upon the people over there is my concern right now. Or is it
Um,
just the fear right now?
Look, there were instances of violence about a couple of weeks ago in different provinces, especially in the south, in the Kandahar province. The Taliban announced that they're going to come peacefully, and they're not going to attack anyone. But once the city surrendered, they went house to house, and up to some reports, they took out and executed hundreds of people. In other areas where there were some military units that they resisted and they fought, and after they ran out of ammunition and they had to surrender, they were actually, their hands were tied behind their back and they were shot execution style. And there's actually videos of that. So far in Kabul, there are no reports from the people that I've spoken to that such incidents happen, but it's a fluid situation. Things could change any minute.
Right. I understand. I'm really sorry about everything that's going on there. I really hope that the world opens their doors to everyone. I really hope so. Our prayers with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Priya, and thank you, Ajmal, for taking that up. By the way, guys, any of the moderator is available? Do we have anyone here?
Yeah, I
Uh,
can take for a few minutes.
all right, sure. Thank you. I have to go on a call. Then I'll come back, Lenny. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
Next
but
we
I
have,
also need to leave later, so you need to come back, okay?
of course, I'm coming back. Don't worry about it. Amresh is next in line. So,
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, we've been here for almost yeah, more than 5 hours now. And Mayank was the only one who was speaking. So just a quick reset. We are here talking about real-time Afghanistan crisis information from local Afghans. We have several Afghan brothers and sisters a while ago who are actually there in Kabul right now, but they left after 4 hours of speaking. So right now we have Ajmal here, and I'm not sure who else, but I will be moving on to our next speaker, Amaresh. You want to share anything or ask something from Ajmal?
Yeah. Actually, thanks, Lenny. Uh, one question, which the news. I think the news came last evening that 5 to 7 people have died in firing. At first, it was said that there was an exchange of fire between U.S. troops and Taliban, but then it was said that one is that the media sources were not sure whether there was an exchange of fire between U.S. and Taliban. Then, if not, then who were they? So, Ajmal, can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, look, I'm not sure about that one. There was an incident, if you're referring to the what happened in Kabul airport.
Yeah.
Some
That
people, some people I think were injured, and I think 2 people were killed when the U.S. troops were trying to control the crowds. But so far, the Taliban have kept clear of engaging U.S. forces. They are on the outside perimeter of the airport, where inside the airport, it's the U.S. military that's not only controlling the air traffic, but also controlling the tarmac so the military planes can land and take off.
Yeah, because I asked this because President Biden, in his speech today, when he addressed the media and the nation, he didn't say anything about the 5,000 American troops who are back there, or what is that their terms of engagement, and till what time exactly are they going to be there? Because we have we have confirmation of one flight which has carrying Indians from Kabul landing in Jamnagar. I think the flight landed some time ago, a few hours ago, and I think about 130 Indians were kind of they were brought from Kabul to India, and but there's still others who are kind of waiting there. So this was I just wanted to know the kind of that if there are some, I mean, there's one more thing, Ajmal, that basically, it is being said that apart from Taliban, there are some other militant groups who are also, I mean, who were also found trying to direct traffic, and there was some mention of Lashkar-e-Taiba or something. I don't know whether LET is active there or even the Jaish-e-Mohammed is active there, but there was a report I read that it was not clear that whether there are some other small groups are also involved or they have reached Kabul. Do you have any information on this?
From what I've heard, this military planning by Taliban had the full backing of the Pakistan military establishment. So all those groups that you mentioned that are aligned with the ISI, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Lashkar-e-Jangvi, they were all in this campaign. Not only that, but they had recruitment of people from other countries, extremists from Uzbekistan. There are even reports that they were people, the Chinese Muslims, they were recruited to take part in this military campaign, and obviously they would have been more active in the northeastern parts of Afghanistan. And obviously, even China is concerned about that, and that's the main reason that they're reaching out to Taliban to secure some guarantees that the Afghan soil will not be used against them. So yeah, so it's very difficult for Taliban on their own to carry out all these things. They have the full support of the Pakistan military establishment, and obviously, they open the floodgates. So all the terrorist and extremist groups that operate in Pakistan are at the disposal of the Pakistani military were in this campaign. From the videos that we have seen, though, it's not very obvious, which member of which group is fighting, because they all dress the same, and they all cover their faces, so it's hard to distinguish. But when the fighting actually started, um, a month and a half ago, and there was active engagements between the Afghan security forces and Taliban. I think on average, the Afghan security forces and the government were handing over hundreds and hundreds of dead Pakistanis to the International Red Cross so they can be taken back to Pakistan. And some of the reports in the social media in Pakistan, you see that they would have mass funerals on the other side of the border in Pakistan of people who fought, Pakistanis who fought in Afghanistan with the Taliban and who had died. So yeah, so without a doubt, all those elements that are at the disposal of ISI and Pakistani military establishment were fighting in Afghanistan alongside Taliban.
Thank you, Ajmal, because maybe we actually don't know how this lightning offensive by Taliban succeeded in such a major way. I mean, it is. I mean, in military terms, because I am a military historian and I've studied battles and I've written books on them. This is something which suddenly, and it appears as if there were uh, like there were others who were helping Taliban. But the speed at which the Afghan army surrendered, they ran out of ammunition, although they were supplied well. We had heard before, but this is because these questions are important. That if there was a coalition of forces with Taliban. One last question, Lenny. Can I ask just one last question?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so there's just one last question, Ajmal. I mean, I'm not. I mean, and this is also an information for others that there is a name Khairullah Khair Khwa who was a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay, an Afghan, and he was. I think he was released by the U.S. in 2012 along with four other Taliban, prisoners, and they were called the Gitmo Five. And Khairullah Khairwa was released, and then President Obama had said that he'll be like in some other, I mean, he'll be in Qatar or some other place where he'll not be allowed to enter Afghanistan. But I just read a report in Wall Street Journal which actually says that, and it details, Sirajuddin Haqqani and the son of Mullah Omar, Mullah Yaqub, and who are leading the Taliban offensive, the current Taliban offensive. That report in Wall Street Journal said that that basically Khairullah Khairkhwa, who was part of the Gitmo Five, he played a major role in behind the scene role. He was the strategic planner in organizing or various Taliban groups and making them come together and planning the offensive. So, do you have some information on this, Ajmal?
Look, I think it's I don't have any direct information on this one, but it's still early days, and it remains to be seen um, why the Afghan military didn't put up a fight, whether it was an issue of logistics where they ran out of ammunition and food or water, or there are also reports that they were um, directed from the Minister of Defense to not put up a fight, and a deal had been reached, and they would not be harmed if they just dropped their weapons and surrendered to the Taliban. It's a bit of a murky situation at the moment. There's reports from all sides claiming all sort of things. Um, and my personal opinion is, if there's a military unit in a far part of the country and they receive reports like that, that the those higher up in power have already submitted to Taliban and a deal had been reached. We don't know what kind of messages they were getting. At the end of the day, that's a very big blow to the morale of the soldiers. And they thought perhaps that's what the government and that's what our leaders want, and that's what we'll do. That's my opinion of why the military didn't put up a fight. As to who was in the background and who was coordinating these, I highly doubt that the likes of Taliban, who not even to begin with, who not even military men. Sure, some of them fought against the Soviets, but I don't think they can execute such a maneuver that they did, where they pretty much controlled all of the border provinces in Afghanistan first, and that wasn't by accident. In my opinion, that was deliberate. That was so they could cut off Kabul from all the exits. Um, so I don't think that was done by the Taliban themselves. I think that was fully planned and supported by the Pakistani military.
But that is something very important, what you said, Ajmal. This is really, and come to think of it, that the way, because militarily also, I was thinking that this was so well planned. I mean, it was actually like, you know, um, that that Taliban knew exactly how the Afghan army had been trained by the US, because the US army, because the US army fights in a certain way, and the Afghan army also was fighting in that way, and to counter that, because they believed in direct assaults, and to counter that, the Taliban or whoever the mind behind them, they kind of you know uh, kept outflanking the Afghan army to a point where actually they had to surrender. These are classic military tactics, and which only a military power with experience would know. Again, I would like to, as a last comment, that this role of Gitmo 5 is of course because Wall Street Journal is a credible source. So the role of Gitmo 5, why were they released from Guantanamo Bay, and how did they play a role in this offensive, or you know? So this is, I would not press Ajmal. He has answered so many questions with such patience. Thank you so much, Ajmal, and I'm done. Thank you.
No, all good. And just one thing I wanted to add to that is that the after 2014, the U.S. soldiers and the NATO formally handed over the security, all aspects of security, to Afghan forces, NDS, the police, the border force, the army, and Taliban were trying to overrun various cities. They were trying and trying and trying. They couldn't. I think they came close briefly. They took over Kunduz twice, but that was very brief, as a day or two, no more than that. And there were skirmishes all along. It's just that this is more of a political defeat rather than military defeat. That's my opinion. I don't think they were instructed to fight back. The message to them was, we have reached a political settlement. You don't have to fight. It's all good, and that's why no fight was put on. Because if you think about it, they had everything. They had planes, they had helicopters, they had tanks. The other side had nothing apart from a couple of pickup trucks and maybe some Humvees that they picked up from the previous fights. So I think it's more of a political defeat rather than military defeat.
That's amazing. You said that, Ajmal, because I wanted you to say it, because I also believe that it's apart from the military thing, it is a political aspect where somehow the faction opposed to Ashraf Ghani, and I think there was within the government, the faction opposed to Ashraf Ghani, and which was backed by Hamid Karzai, because Hamid Karzai and Ashraf Ghani, they belong to opposite factions, and so that section of the government which was against Ashraf Ghani, they also played a role in striking a deal or something. But sorry, I mean that would be extending my time to So I'm done. I'm done, Lenny. Thank you.
Amir, let me just
I have a
uh,
question.
Well then, Dawood, are you going to answer the question? Because we are actually doing PTR. We have an
I
order.
I just wanna put a comment because I think most of the people who is asking people who was in the stage, so when they're asking questions, so let me just talk, like give me like 2 minutes. So
Okay, yeah, but make sure that your comment is relevant to the question. Okay.
no problem. So okay,
Wonderful.
Shall
let's
I
see.
make my point? Then after that you can answer. Shall I make my point? Shall I take?
Let
Hold on, Yusuf. Dawood is going to answer Amarish
No, but
question.
I think I have extended question that where they left. I have a further question to ask. If you are allowing me, I can speak, or else I will wait for Dawood.
Yeah, Yusuf, if it's okay with you, can we give Dawood a chance to speak for a couple of like perhaps 1 minute, and then I will be passing the microphone over to you.
You mean that I can speak now?
No, Dawood first, and then you, because Dawood was just going to chime in with Amarish question. Dawood.
Thank you, Lena. So let me just explain this one. It's the situation of Afghanistan. So we have a huge border with Pakistan. So if you see, maybe you can find on the map, they are calling a place FAT or Fatah. It's shortcut of federally administered tribal area of Pakistan. So actually they are calling Waziristan also. So this place is only particular race, which is a Pashtun, and we have the same people in Afghanistan. So those people in the Pakistan are the Pashtun. They are really, really so close with these people in Afghanistan. So and then the Pakistan, they are using these people and they are uh, very close. They have a close contact with the Taliban also, and the Al Qaeda, and also Lashkar Taiba. Those people who is got that training, and they have the weapon, and they have they got a military. They are coming from this Waziristan, and this Waziristan is very strategic place for the Pakistan, and also for the Afghanistan. We have a Waziristan in Pakistan. We have Waziristan in Afghanistan. They are very strategic place, and even the U.S. military, they cannot destroy the Taliban in this place. So because they have a close contact with the ISIS, basically. So what I'm trying to say, so if you can see in Afghanistan, we have a multiple race in Afghanistan. We have a Tajik, we have Hazara, we have a Uzbek, we have a Pashtun. So basically, Pashtun is, I'm not saying that all of the Pashtun is Taliban, but those people, Ashraf Ghani was a Pashtun. Ajmal knows better than me. So all of these people who is working more than, like, I got a resource, it's saying like 75 percentage of the people who is work with the government are Pashtun. So that was the reason. So because, as you can see, also I'm going to mention one things. The president of the Pakistan said Pashtun people are fighting each other every day, but when it comes to the other people, so they are united. What does it mean? It means that when they have a problem with each other, they will kill each other. Doesn't matter they are brother, they are uncle, or whatever they are. But when it comes to fight with other people, such as Hazara, such as Tajik, such as Uzbek, they are united. We have the same consequence in Pakistan and Afghanistan. This border, as I just mentioned, Fatah, is exactly mean by Imran Khan. Imran Khan clearly mentioned it, this one on his speech. So that's the problem. That's why we have a good military, we have everything. So we lost because of this particular place. So, and also we call it Devran line. So this was assigned by, I am not sure they exactly did. So that is the one of the most, the reason, the one of the most problem that we are facing right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dawood. Okay, Yusuf,
Yeah.
thank you so
Yeah,
much for your
yeah,
patience.
yeah,
Can
thank
I
you.
ask a question?
Somebody
Sorry.
want to speak? Somebody want to speak? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I've
Yes, I want
already
to speak.
asked. I've already asked my question. Can I ask just one question?
Just
Is it related to what Amarish was speaking? Because Yusuf was waiting for a long time. Can
yes.
we come back to you later,
Sure,
Jyoti?
sure.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Yusuf. The mic is yours.
Yeah, yeah. I thank you for giving me an opportunity. I don't have anything to say. Actually, that every point everyone is mentioned, and it is unfortunate that that I mean that Taliban took over Afghanistan. My concern is that people of Afghanistan, they are unfortunate. They don't have any option. I mean that people are. I mean that atrocity against women and children, and we have to condemn only. We can't do anything on that. My question is, that there's such a powerful country like America, and they have been in Afghanistan almost 20 years, and Afghan military more than 300,000, which is more than their NATO alliance, and still, and they have all the weapons, but they have given up. And first place, even why America came to Afghanistan, and then the last moment, they are leaving America. Sorry, they are leaving Afghanistan. It is unfortunate, and we were talking about deal. So the America also part of the deal. That is what I wanted to ask. I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Yusuf. Ajmal, would you like to answer the question?
Um, I think I somewhat answered it. It was a similar question to Amarish. It wasn't more of a military defeat, but it was more of a political defeat than a military one. The military units were given orders to surrender because a political settlement had reached. Sure, there was a bigger military campaign than previous years, but as I said, the Afghan army and other security forces had been fighting Taliban and other elements such as ISIS since 2014 on their own, with very limited support from the foreign forces. So it wasn't a matter of them not fighting or them fighting and losing. It was more of them being directed not to fight because the political settlement had already reached.
Thank you, Ajmal. Did that answer your question, Yusuf?
Not answer my question. I was specifically asking about America's role in this. I mean that America a part of the deal, or he can, if he can answer, it is good. Otherwise, it's okay. I will leave. I mean that I will not ask further question. If you want, if you wish, he can answer. The deal we are talking about the deal, and my question is whether America is a part of the deal. Because such a country like America, that America is a superpower, and anyone knows that, even if America want to attack Afghanistan, for America it is easy. But after 20 years of their service, and they have spent almost 1 trillion rupee, 1 trillion. I mean that 1 trillion they spend in. I mean the dollar. I feel they have spent in Afghanistan. They
Uh,
trained more than
Yusuf, I just want to share what I learned in another room a while ago. You can actually Google. There's a public document. Just type U.S. Taliban agreement. It's there. You just check that out. I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I will check. Okay, then no problem.
Yeah,
Then
it's U.S. Taliban agreement. Yeah, it was signed.
yeah, okay, no
Just
problem.
check it
Thank you.
out. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I will be moving on to our next speaker. So thank you so much, everybody, once again for joining us. We've been running for almost 6 hours now. Mayank has been talking nonstop. I've just tried to speak a couple of minutes to because he's in a call right now. And yeah, please make sure to follow Mayank in his club. Let us discuss. We had a lot of locals a while ago, but they had to leave because they've been speaking for more than 4 hours. And one Afghanistan brother, his name is Mir. He was here a while ago. He's actually living close to Presidential Palace. And according to him, aside from not being able to go out for so long, and aside from the patchy internet connection, everything is calm so far. Yeah, so let's just keep on praying that they will be okay, that nothing will happen in the upcoming days. Okay, so I will be moving on to our next speaker. Hi, Sham. I know you've been waiting for so long. Welcome to the stage. We'd love to hear. Okay, so just a reminder to everybody, this is a safe space for discussion, sharing your opinion or fact, or asking question, because we have Ajmal here from Afghanistan, and this is not a place for debate. So thank you so much, and over to you, Sham.
Hi Lani, how are you? I hope you're well. Yeah, sorry, I've kind of been in and out. I won't stay long just because I've got loads of meetings and things like that. But firstly, I just wanted to give you guys a big credit for organizing this group actually, because what so happens often on Clubhouse is that something has happened in the world which is really, really, really not nice, and people start creating rooms and not giving opportunity for the people of that country, or people that have family or are from that country, an opportunity to speak. And for the time that I've been in this room, you guys really, really have done amazing. I can hear the people of Afghanistan speak, and honestly, some of them, like there was a woman called, I think her name, I can't remember, but I think it begin with B. I think she's gone now,
Yeah.
but she was talking, and it really, really touched my heart, because if something was happening in the UK, or if something was happening in my motherland, Pakistan, I would want the opportunity to be able to speak and kind of have that. So I just wanted to give you guys credit and give you guys your flowers and just say, thank you so much, because I know that that's going to mean a lot to the people of Afghanistan. And, secondly, I just wanted to give my prayers, and, we're all praying for you. And it's not a nice situation, particularly if you guys are not able to go back to your motherland, and you guys are in the Western world or anywhere around the world. So we are making dua for you guys all the time. I'm not going to kind of go into any debate or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of come on, show my support, say that I'm here for you guys, and please, please, please continue to raise your voices. And the one thing that I learned from when I was helping out in the Palestinian rooms was that um, the voices of the people of those countries are so important. When people get together, we are so powerful, especially when we are supporting them and when we really start to fight for what we believe in. Trust me, there's a change. We saw this with Palestine, where they fought back no matter what was happening, and it was heartbreaking to watch. But when they were coming together and they were coming on Clubhouse, and we were hearing them live from Palestine, same with when we are hearing you guys live from Afghanistan, because we know that the main media, they lie a lot, and they try and gaslight us, and they just try and share the wrong information. And then lastly, I just wanted to say, because I have heard a few people, I don't want people to jump down my throat on this next bit, but being a British Pakistani, I haven't been Pakistan for the last 20 years. If I'm honest with you, I don't know a lot about the history between Afghanistan and Pakistan, but I am hearing this same thing from a few people that are not Afghanistan people, because of course I'm going to respect people of Afghanistan and their opinions, but they keep having this blame thing to do with Pakistan. Now, I'm not saying that that's not the case, but what I would say is, when you guys are speaking, it's quite hurtful, from being a Pakistani myself. I mean, I haven't been back to my own country for 20 years, right? I'm very British. I'm probably more British than I am Pakistani, but I cannot express how much support the Pakistani people, I'm not talking about the government, Pakistani people have for you. And I know that it must be hard to hear that, but please, 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 if you are going to say stuff about Pakistan, say the Pakistan government, because they are probably the cause of this problem. If there are any, misunderstandings, or if there is any heartbreak there, or whatever it is. But as people of Pakistan, I cannot express to you how much we support you. I cannot express to you how much the people of Pakistan, I'm not only talking about people in the UK, and from what I know in my families back home, and how much they want to come out and speak their minds, and really kind of protest, and for any change. If there's anything that we can do more, we are going to honestly try as much as we can. I know my family, we've got very, very close friends, even on where we live, that are Afghanistan. Some of our family members are Afghanistan, just because our cousins have married in there. So I just kind of wanted to show that bit of support and solidarity. And then lastly, there was a girl called Bina that had come on, and she had mentioned about what are the Islamic countries doing to support you. She was kind of saying it, and it was to the Afghanistan people. What I will say to that is, because a lot of people say this, especially when there's a crisis, the Muslims around the world are oppressed. Everywhere you look, they are oppressed, right? If that was the case, where the Islamic countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and all these powerful countries were going to come together, and they were going to support us, and they were going to really kind of come in and not let the Western world come and rule them the way they would, we wouldn't be in the state that we are today. The problem we have is they've got their own crises. Look at Yemen, look at Lebanon, look at Palestine, look at around the world. So as much as, yeah, they could do something, and believe me, it makes my blood boil more than anyone else. Unfortunately, they're not going to support us. The way that we have to deal with this is when people come together, when people unite together, when people come out in their millions in their streets, and they don't fear anything anymore, because they're just fed up. Then we can make a change. And things like this discussion on Clubhouse and raising awareness, believe me, it makes a huge difference. And that's all I wanted to say. And, you know, lastly, to the people of Afghanistan, we are with you. We will never stop being with you. And I will continue to make dua for you. And just remember, who is more powerful than anything is Allah. So please, please continue to pray and make your duas. And I ask everybody in this, whether you are religious or not religious, to make a prayer for the people of Afghanistan and around the world, because they really need our prayers. You know, God can move mountains if He wanted to. So please, please keep them in your prayers. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I do have to run off to some other meetings. And thank you very much. I'm Sham and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Sham. That's wonderful. And I hope you will have a great day there in UK. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Okay, so I will be moving on to our next speaker, Kinza. I know you've been waiting for so long. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much. I need a minute.
Okay, so I will be moving on to Tariq. I will circle back to you, Kinza. Hi, Tariq.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. And hello and salam to all. First of all, I just want to share the pain and the frustration and suffering of the Afghan people that they're going through right now. So I just want to talk about few things. First is I've been hearing that the Taliban has stated that which is also in the paper, that it's not going to be the Islamic State of Islamic Emirate. So my question is that, and then talking about the other Islamic countries as well, like Pakistan is Islamic. So what I'm trying to say is, just by naming Islamic Emirate will not induce Islamic values among the individuals, which means even in the Talibani people as well as the other local people from Afghanistan. Like if you see Pakistan, or if you see any other Muslim country, none of them, they're all Islamic by law, by name, but none of them have the practices of the true Islamic way. I wish there was anything Islamic about any of these countries except the name. So there is some kind of a hypocrisy with all these countries, which includes Saudi Arabia and all the Middle East country, and also the non-Middle East, non-Arab countries, which are Muslim countries. So I just want to make that point, that, and also that they keep talking about the Sharia law. I mean, with the Sharia law, I wish people had seen of today's time what Sharia law actually look like, what it used to be, and none of them have to know how to practice it. And if they do try to practice it, they try to choose and try to leave out something which does not suit their lifestyle. So there's a lot of complication with that. And the last thing I want to make a comment is that I am a Muslim, and I'm not a very religious Muslim, but there is no such thing as a moderate Muslim or a liberal Muslim. A Muslim is just a Muslim. I, am I in today's mindset? Am I ready to accept Sharia law? Probably not. Very honestly, I'm telling you this. Why? Because my generations have not been raised in those situations where they have seen Sharia law in its true sense. So now, if after so many generations, people start bestowing this on us, saying that you have to follow these rules and regulations, it's not going to happen. So same thing goes with Afghanistan, that the people are there Muslim, they're as Muslims as any other Muslim in any other country, which includes Pakistan. But the thing is that the kind of law that if Taliban wants to induce on their people, that would not be appropriate. Not because if they are even introducing in its true sense, we are not ready for it. None of the people are ready for it. May that be from Pakistan, may that be from Afghanistan, may that even from Saudi Arabia. So I just want to make that thing very clear, that just by calling all this, neither is the nation ready to accept Islam in its true sense, especially the Sharia law that we keep talking about, and neither the people who are trying to impose on us, or which means all the Muslims around the world, are ready for it, because generations have passed by and nobody has practiced in its true sense. So we are not used to it. Probably slowly and steadily that might work. So I just want to make that clear. The last thing I want to say is, I've been hearing about America. I live here in America, and I just want to say that people have been blaming America the way they have exited. What were people really thinking? I mean, 20 years they invested dollars, trillions of dollars, gave lives, bloodshed took place, so much happened, and then there had some kind of a strategy to get out. I do not know what would have been a safe strategy. to say that America did not do enough or America should have done that or this. I do not know what America would have done further what they did for 20 years. And of course, the last thing is that trained they gave the best cutting edge weapon to fight. They trained them for 20 years. But money can buy all that, but money cannot buy the will to fight. If there is, I mean, we all saw it. Now we cannot even have to depend on the media. Everybody has a cell phone, and everybody makes videos and images. You could see there for everybody's eyes to see it. What has happened? What happened at the highest level? I do not know. Probably the folks over here are mentioning that probably they might have settled down in the closed rooms. Probably, but we have all seen what has happened. So to blame America, saying that they could have done this. And last thing, I want to get an opinion from my Indian friends up here that I think about a week or 10 days ago, when the reverberation was that Taliban was getting close to all the big urban cities or urban states. So they tried to contact Indian government to asking for a military help in terms of personnel. So what the help that they got was indeed, and I must say that yes, India has done a lot for Afghanistan in terms of providing them structure, providing them with finances, and helping their people study in their country. But here is the thing: at the hour of need, India sent the plane with a lot of ammunition, armored vehicles, and all that to help them to fight the same situation. But America has been doing that for 20 years. My point is that they needed army, they need army personnel to come there and help them because America has already announced that they were leaving. So, anybody could explain me what was the reason why when President Ghani, ex-President Ghani, needed that help, why weren't they not able to provide that help when he needed at that time? He didn't need any ammunition or armored vehicles. So that is going to be my question for the day. And thank you so much again. My full support for all the Afghan people who are worried and concerned about the current situation. And I'm done speaking. I'm Sayyid Hassan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tariq. Ajmal, would you like to answer that one?
And also,
Yeah,
I'm
look,
back, so
I
I would
agree
Because I'm
go
with.
on the
next.
PTR orders also.
Yeah, and I'm
Sorry.
also back, so I would like to go next if possible.
Kimza, I will circle back to you after Tariq, okay? Thank you
Okay,
so
perfect.
much for
Thank you.
your patience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Look, I agree with your points, Tariq, about Islam being used as a political tool. The Afghan people have been a victim of Islam being used as a political tool for almost more than 4 decades now, right? If you go back to the 1980s, we had a functioning government in Kabul. The Mujahideen, who some of them later became Taliban, and they were being told that the country is occupied by non-believers, that no one prays in the capital Kabul anymore, that all these sort of false information to say that every person in Kabul has left their religion. They're not Muslim anymore. But what is Islam? If you look at the Hadith, the Islam is nothing more than character, right? So when they came and they burned the cities and they looted the cities and the institutions, and they killed people, you can't really call them Muslims anymore because they're not actually showing a human character there. They're only using Islam as a political tool to achieve their goals, which was to get to power, and that's what they did. And you know who was supporting them back then, right? With the stingers and all that. Now, going back to all the money, I mean, I keep hearing this in the media that they have spent trillions of dollars. Majority of that money went back to contractors, back to these Western countries, whether it's for major construction companies that supplied security services. A lot of the money went back. Uh, 20 years passed, how many dams were built? The only water dams to provide electricity were built in the last couple of years by Ashraf Ghani. They managed to build one highway from Kabul to Kandahar, and then again, the people who call themselves Muslims, they were putting bombs and destroying the roads, let alone killing people. So what has the U.S. done? We had elections in about three years ago. Sure, there were some issues, irregularities, but then Afghans came together and they elected a president. There was active insurgency by the Taliban. The U.S. went behind the scenes and negotiated with them in Qatar, gave them legitimacy. So if you know, on one hand, you keep saying that you're supporting the government and the people, and you all also have a bilateral security agreement the BSA signed with them, where it says that you're going to defend them against any external threats. But then you go and you hold talks with the same guerrilla groups, you release them from jails, and then you hold talks with them so that they can fight the same government and topple the same government. You mentioned ex-President Ghani. He hasn't resigned. This was a military coup, right? He left. If he didn't leave, they would have hung him from one of the squares. The same thing they did to Dr. Najibullah back in 94. So that's what's happening. And the other thing is, as I was saying previously a couple hours ago, there's two major mistakes that the U.S. did. One, after toppling the Taliban government in 2001, towards the end of it, they took all the warlords, gave them all the money, duffel bags worth of money, gave them all the important positions in the government, and that paved the way for corruption, right? So if I cannot get a job because it's been occupied by a warlord's son or a cousin, I don't have any choice, but I have to compete with all the other people who are trying to give some bribe to get to that position, right? Because I've studied in the university, and so I need to make a living for my family. That's the start of the corruption. And the second thing is, they know where these insurgents are being trained and supported. They come and fight in the spring, in the summer, in the colder months when it snows. They go back to Pakistan, to Quetta. They completely ignored that. Those were the key, the two major issues, two major mistakes that the U.S. did. Mind you, I studied in the U.S. I'm very grateful to the people of America for that opportunity. I think their intentions were good, but they're also making mistakes that they either were not willing to correct later on, or just turning a blind eye. And towards the end, I guess they just gave up. That's not to say that the Afghan political establishment had no problems. They had massive problems, but the problems started when they were empowered by the same people who toppled the Taliban. So all these things have gone back and done a 360 circle. We came back to the same place we were in the year 2001, and that's the biggest worry of the people of Afghanistan right now. They're very upset because they've lost their identity. The flag has been replaced with a different flag that they don't even recognize. All the institutions that the people have worked so hard in the past 20 years, are not functioning anymore. And we have, a situation of brain drain from the country. All those educated people with experience, are being forced to leave the country. You either die or you either flee. I hope I answered some of your points, Tariq.
Ajmal, you did, and sometimes this is a forum where everybody needs some time. I'm sure there is a lot of room that I would like to discuss, but this is not the time for it. But I respect your opinion and views. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tariq, and thank you, Ajmal, for patiently answering those questions. I think Kinza, I'm not sure, were you able to speak?
Yes, yes. Is it
Okay.
okay if I go now? Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry about earlier, I'm at work at the moment, and that's why I had to go in a quieter space to just come in and say a few words. So I'm from Pakistan, and I think that's completely irrelevant where I am from or where I'm based at the moment, because before I start and ask my question, I just want to come out and say sorry to everybody who's going through something at the moment, be it in any part of the world, but specifically my Afghan friends. I'm really, really sorry that you have to go through this. I take my nationality aside from this, but as a human being, I think the whole world is one at the moment, and we're all empathetically understanding where you're coming from. And I think holding any opinion and having a debate over who did what is irrelevant at the moment, and it's more a conversation of what should be done now and what should be done moving forward, because what's been done is done, but how can we overturn it is the question. And now coming back to where I'm from, so I'm a Pakistani, like I said earlier, but I'm not based in Pakistan at the moment. I'm in Germany. So I just wanted to ask my Afghan friends and anybody here who's in Afghanistan at the moment. Before anything else, I show my solidarity to you guys, and whatever the government is doing, I disagree with that, obviously, because I mean, killing any human being, be it Indian or Pakistani or Afghanistani or anyone in our neighboring country, is wrong, and I would never support that as a human being. But I just wanted to ask, is there something that we can do as people from Pakistan to help you guys? Are there organizations that are trusted for you, or anything tangible that we can help you with? Because I feel like a lot of us have a voice, and I empathize with your pain, but I don't know how to tangibly help you. So I just wanted to ask that. And again, my condolences and my support to you guys.
Thank you, Kinza. You're being very kind. And as Azmal, if you have any source or any lead where people can actually support, you can suggest anything, or else we'll try to figure out later.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to say I appreciate where you're coming from, Kinza. Uh, I don't think it's an issue between the people of the two countries. We're neighbors, and we, have the same culture, the same religion. Our backgrounds are shared. I know families who are split across the two borders. It's just that the policies of the government have been against Afghanistan, and there are reasons for it. As to what can be done, things have been happening so quickly that we're just in the process of trying to understand what went wrong. The only thing I think would be good is, if we can all raise our voices for the people of Afghanistan, whether it be through social media or through other means, and make it known to the world that the Afghan people do not accept going back 20 years into the past. They do not accept living under an Islamic emirate. They want to hold on to what they have achieved in these past 20 years. We want to be a free and democratic country, like any other country. So I think at this point, that's the important thing, that we raise our voices for the people of Afghanistan.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I mean, if there are more tangible ways to support in terms of like donations, or I don't know, if there's something that you feel we can help with, you can drop me a message, and I can spread it amongst my friends in my Pakistani community, and because at the end of the day, I mean, we do have a voice, but I don't know how much of it is can be heard, because if it was heard, then we wouldn't be at this state at the moment. But whatever I can do, I would be happy to help. And again, my condolences and lots of love to everyone on the stage.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinza, for that thought. Let's go to the next speaker. Before that, actually, I really quickly wanted to reset the room, because this room is been running for last 5 hours. We we do have Ajmal as a local Afghani right now with us, but we had few more people. Of course, network connection is still a problem right now there. The stability, so people are coming on and off, and we are talking about the local situation. I personally do not believe everything what media says, so I thought of connecting with my local friends from Afghanistan and understanding the situation, what's happening. This is Let Us Discuss a club. You can see the green hat there. This is a discussion room where we are talking right now about the real time Afghanistan crisis. Information which we are trying to obtain from local people to get updated about the situation, or and if any kind of support we can provide to the people out there. For now, Malina, Shivani, and Ravi Dheeraj are helping me, and Nisha are helping me in the moderation. Ajmal is here as a local. We had few more people as a local, but they are off for now. They'll come back. They have mentioned me, so we'll try to run the room for some more time, so that we can have more information shared further. If anyone in this audience panel is from Afghanistan or is having any connect in Afghanistan right now, wanted to come up to the speaker panel, please back channel me. I'll try to pull them up. We are keeping the hand raise option closed so that we do not we can have this conversation polite, and trolls cannot should not disturb this stage, because this is a very sensitive subject, and we are being very supportive and empathetic for the people of Afghan. Um, Next, we have in line is Madhav. Madhav, you wanted to say something? Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayank. So I would like to make 3 points. Like, it is the first point is related to what Dheeraj asked few hours back, that what is India's stance and what does Beijing want to do. So I have, because since that is not a topic of discussion, so I have messaged him on the back channel. So if anybody wants to know that, so they can back channel me. I'll send that. Second, I would like to clarify one thing which has been raised not only in this room but previous room, which also I attended and some of them I moderated. See, yes, India has the capability to send their military. Yes, we are the fourth most strongest military, but it would have been really foolish for India to do so. I'll tell you why. Firstly, because I'll tell you about the past experience that in the Afghan Soviet war also, we have done these kind of military actions, and those military actions were successful, but the ramifications of those actions was beyond comprehension, and we had to pay a huge cost for that. So our past does tells us not to do it. Secondly, the fact of the matter is that it will cost a lot of money, because even United States spent trillions of dollars over a period of 20 years. So it is going to cost a lot of money for India right now, and every economy in the world is recovering, so it will be a huge expenditure. And thirdly, the point is that we don't have a policy of attacking first, and this some policies in India don't change irrespective of who comes to power, irrespective of the party which comes to power, and particularly the foreign policy. And this can also be elucidated with the Israel Palestinian conflict, where India reaffirmed its position for the Palestinian cause because we had supported them in the Cold War era. So that's the point. And lastly, I would also like to say that the fact is that Taliban have been very experienced. They have been fighting United States, and they had given a clear notice that it won't be good for India if they send military. We can defeat Taliban like that, but it would have been foolish. So diplomacy was the only way out, and we tried our best through diplomacy, but it didn't work out. But yeah, diplomacy was the only thing. My third question is because I have attended a lot of rooms, and I even attended the one in which I think Bijanji was also there. And it was a very big room, I guess, and around 1,200 people was there. And I also moderated a couple of rooms. I have seen that there are two schools of thought in the Afghan people that are living overseas. First schools of thought says that the onus completely lies on United States because their troop pullout was completely unplanned, and they did not inform the Afghan commanders, and it was totally unprecedented. So the onus lies on them. The second school of thought says that the onus lies on Ashraf Ghani because he is a very corrupt politician and he has been misusing the funds that have been allocated for Afghanistan by the United States and various other countries. So I really don't know anything about Ashraf Ghani because I don't know about the internal politics, so I cannot comment. So I just want to ask the Afghani people here that what is the ground reality, And whom do you blame? That is it Ashraf Ghani, who was a corrupt politician and has led to this, or do you think the United States is responsible? Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you, Madhav, for that. Ajmal, you want to answer that one?
Yep. Look, unfortunately, in Afghanistan, a lot of the opinions are formed alongside ethnic lines. So it really depends on who you ask, and you might get a different answer. My personal opinion is that Ashraf Ghani was working in a system that had a lot of corruption in it from the get go. Um, Now, whether he tried to actively root out that corruption or he at some point gave up on it, um, that's that few we'll know about it in a decade or two, I suppose. Um, but he was trying. He was trying to do something good for his country. He probably wasn't getting the best advice. That's the general consensus, even around the people, his lieutenants and his associates who left his side. I don't think that blame can be purely put on the U.S. as well. Um, the biggest problem was the back channel deals that occurred, the political settlement that completely undermined the government. I think last year they came to the government and said you have to release 5,000 of the Taliban prisoners. And the government of Ashraf Ghani said, well, you have to give us some assurances that these people are not going to join the fight, that they're going to, go back to villages and live a ordinary civilian life. And no such assurances were given. All those 5,000 people went back and, joined the military ranks of Taliban. So that's the primary reason for the fall of the government and the military being instructed not to fight, because they were given the message that a political settlement have been reached. You shouldn't fight, and you should surrender. As to the Afghan diaspora and what they have to say, I think you get more informed views from the people who are actually on the ground, or at least in contact with the people on the ground, as opposed to those living overseas. And it's also very, early days. The emotions are very raw. I think it's human nature to start pointing fingers, and nothing's easier than pointing your finger at the head of state and saying it was all his fault. There's a lot of factors that went into the situation, led to the situation.
So can I conclude that you're saying it is a combination of both of them? Is that what you're implying? If I'm not wrong.
Madhav, I think it's a combination of multiple things, not just two things. It's not just US, it's not just Ashraf Ghani, the president, and it's not just the Pakistan. There are so many factors involved at the same time, and I'm not sure if Ajmal might be able to answer everything, but we have to see this is a geopolitical situation, and Russia is involved, China is involved, Pakistan is involved, US is involved, and somewhere in between, maybe not actively, but India is involved too. I don't think so. If you're seeking for an answer, I'm not sure if Ajmal would be the right person to give you the answer here. But yes, he already expressed his opinion.
Actually, I'd heard very extreme opinions, and these were the ones. And these are not my opinion; these are from Afghan people only. So that's why I asked, because they either put on US or that. So
No,
I'm done speaking.
absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
that's what Ajmal also mentioned, that see, this is a desperate situation. People are in despair. So the extreme opinions are should be there. People in such situation, people look to blame. People want somebody to blame so that they can release their anger at. Somebody has to be there so that they can feel that it's their fault, and that's what is happening. So and that is why this room is for, because I do not want people to have criticize or find out what is the problem, where is the problem. This room is the basically the purpose of this room is to connect with fellow Afghanis, understand their pain, and support them and be empathetic towards them. That's what it is. So that we have few Afghans earlier who were sitting with us. We talked about them. Few of them were grieving. Some of them have their family members, they have died in this internal war of Afghan, which is being supported by external factors. And this is where we are talking about of being sensitive and supportive and empathic. I hope that
Mayank,
answers
if I
them.
can, yeah,
Yes, Srinivas.
yeah. So I definitely, I did have, of course, I've attended a few sessions in the last 2 days. That I also used to feel that, the Afghan population is also to blame. Right? Initial thought, right? I'm just saying, but I think over the 2 days, I'm very clear that somebody who's actually not part of the problem, but are the actual sufferers, are the general population in Afghanistan. Right, people who are kind of going about their lives, trying to rebuild their lives, trying to get educated, get a job. So not what you will say the normal middle class folks. I think these are definitely not contributed at all to any of the issues, and they are the ones who are actually taking the flag for it. I think that is where probably we can focus on. Definitely they are not, they don't seem to be a problem at all, because I